Welcome back to NFL Talk with Roman. We've missed the last few weeks. We've been kind of schedules off,
Yeah, schedule's been off, and I've been
traveling,
traveling. I travel for work, and so haven't been able to work it out.
but we're here now.
We're back. Missed some things.
Got a couple things to talk about. We'll quickly discuss. Don't mind my bright red Christmas socks. Just don't judge. um, Denver Broncos played Houston this past week. Lost on the last play of the game.
I was super surprised Denver hung in there the way they did.
Our offense was horrible
Yeah.
that game, and our defense honestly wasn't great, but we got really good in the red zone, which is something we've discussed.
Well, and you held Houston to what, 21 points or
something like that.
Yeah,
It was
a close game.
It was a close game. We were down 5 and threw a pick, with like 10 seconds left. This was one of those games that, like, I don't know, the chemistry is just not there between Judy and Russell Wilson. There was like 3 or 4 plays where Judy was wide open for big plays and Russ just missed. And Sean Payton actually talked about it after the game. And so
I saw his comments that he's leaving big plays on the field with Judy.
yeah. And so it hurts to lose that game, but we're still in the playoff hunt. We're actually still only a game out of the playoffs. What really hurts is if we would have won that game, would have been a game out of freaking leading our division somehow.
Dude.
But we're still in the playoff hunt, and have a lot of winnable games.
Well, and you look at the teams ahead of you, like the Texans,
Colts,
the Browns, the Steelers. I think you're ahead of the Bengals, and Bengals have lost their quarterback for the year.
Yep.
Kenny Pickett will be back in, I think, a week.
Yeah.
He had the tightrope surgery on his ankle. And then the Bills could decide to put it back together and be a good team again.
Right. Or could continue to struggle.
Or could continue to suck.
So there's definitely a window for us to somehow make the playoffs this year. And we have, seriously, to close out the season, we have the Chargers twice. We have the Raiders. I think we play the Panthers. I'm not sure. I think it's the Panthers. So lots of winnable games.
Let's see.
To close out our season.
Let's look at your schedule. Chargers, Lions, Patriots, Chargers, Raiders.
Patriots, not Panthers, but still.
I think you can take one from the Chargers for sure.
Well,
which puts you at 7-6. Patriots 8-6. Raiders 9-6. I mean, that really leaves one game against the Chargers as a loss and the Lions as a loss. It's 9-8. If you're able to pull, you're probably not sweeping the Chargers. It's tough to do in division.
I would say
you could beat Detroit.
I would say the Chargers are probably the best chance of sweeping in our division because they've been super hit and miss.
Their coach is going to get fired.
Yeah. But what's crazy to think about is there's a chance we don't win another game. There's a chance we win out. I think they're all going to be competitive games. The one game that scares me the most is the Lions.
It should. Well, yeah. I was going to say the Patriots decided to turn things around the other day.
Right. You don't ever know what you're going to get out of them.
Like Bailey Zapp looked like a good quarterback on Thursday Night Football, dude. I was like, what the hell?
So, a lot of winnable games coming up. A big thing I think it's going to come down to our offense, on if our offense can put points on the board.
Agreed.
Another thing that really hurts in that game, though. So Russ threw a pick.
Russ had a bad game.
But he throws a pick that got his first pick. He threw like 2 back-to-back picks. The first one was a ball that got tipped at like their 30. Or our 30. The difference was on the third down, when we were on defense, we got a forced fumble, and the ball bounced around three of our guys, and they pulled the Cam Newton in the Super Bowl and didn't dive on the ball and just kind of all looked at the ball, and then one of their guys dove on the ball. They end up punting instead, which puts us in bad field position.
Mm-hmm.
We would have had it. We would have had like it was like 25 yards to go.
Oh yeah.
We run it's a completely different offensive set and everything if that happens. So, as much, and then the DN like got a fingertip on the ball. It slowed it down enough to where it ended up getting low side picked on the low. But so like our defense has been really good at taking advantage of things and turnovers, and they didn't do that this game. So a mix of Russ having a bad game, our defense not getting any turnovers, the fact that we still only lost by 5 shows how much we've improved.
Well, and we talked about it. CJ Stroud has been great at taking care of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You did sack him 5 times, but he takes care of the ball, even though he lost his best receiver in Tank Dell.
Yeah, he fumbled once or twice in that game.
Yeah, and he lost his best receiver, which really hurts. That Houston offense is not going to be the same without Tank Dell.
It's not. Nico Collins went insane against us after Tank Dell went out.
Yeah, and Noah Brown's a good receiver. I like Noah Brown, their third receiver.
He's just not the ability that Tank Dell has.
He's not Tank Dell.
So it was a disappointing loss. Chargers this week. With some of the comments from Sean Payton and stuff like that, I do expect us to come out and have a good game and be able to move the ball and get Jerry Jeudy involved. Dude, the last play of the game where he throws a pick,
mm-hmm.
We had no timeouts because we wasted a timeout. It's 3rd and goal, like 20 seconds left at the 8-yard line, I think. He's going to snap the ball. We have a guy on the field who got signed from the practice squad 2 days before his first ever game. He's on the field, 3rd and goal to win the game, and he's a tight end receiver.
What's his name?
I don't even know. But he is legitimately. We have a 3 receiver set on the left side. He's in the middle, turns as we're about to snap, and is just doing this. What's the play? Like, lost, doesn't know what to do. So the receivers are trying to tell him with 2 seconds left on the clock. So Russ has to snap it. Both tackles get beat. So Russ scrambles for a second and then just kind of throws it up. He should have just thrown it out of bounds instead of trying to throw it up because we still have a play. But
you got one more play.
Yeah, but it was just like, why is that guy on the field?
Is it Kroll?
He's like 83, 82. White dude.
85, Lucas Kroll.
Yes.
Big old sucker.
Yeah, I think that was him. So I actually do expect our offense to come out a lot better against the Chargers. Our offensive line, weirdly enough, has been very good. I don't understand. Lloyd Cushenberry's rated like top 5 for centers.
Yeah.
Quinn Meinertz is rated as one of the best interior linemen in football, and weirdly enough, Garrett Bowles is actually rated pretty high for tackles.
Well, my concern against the Chargers, Bosa's out, right?
I think so.
I think Bosa went on IR. They still have Khalil Mack.
And so Garrett Bowles, where he runs into issues, which is why he had a lot of holding calls and what people remember him for and things like that. His technique, instead of kicking out wide, he kicks and then plants hard. If they bull rush, it gives him the advantage. But if it's a speed rush, he will lose every time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the last play of the game, that's what he did. And the guy speed rushed and got past him easy. So that concerns me with Garrett Bowles, is when he does have bad plays, they're bad plays because of that exact thing.
Well, and Bosa and Mack are both power rushers.
Yeah.
So I don't know who's coming in to replace Bosa, but it should help you in that game.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'm still kind of shocked we're talking about us even being in the playoffs.
Yeah, the fact you're 6-6, I think that right there.
Here's my thing.
It's a good season for
that's my thing.
Guys.
We could lose every game the remainder of this season, and it would be a successful season compared to what last year was.
Yeah. You stepped forward. That's what matters.
Yes. Our team remembered what it feels like to freaking win games.
If you guys end up 7-10 or 8-9, it's like, okay, we're not that far away.
Exactly.
We took enough steps forward. We just need to take one or two more, fix a couple little things, and we're a playoff.
And that's a big thing is that it's taken Sean Payton a long time to still trying to fix Russ.
Still got to fix him.
Yep. Yes. And it's been taking Vance Joseph a long time to fix our defense. A big thing is this offensive line coach we brought in has completely fixed our line, which blows me away. All our line is rated as one of the better lines right now. We're not necessarily elite, but we have some very high level young players.
Right.
So there's a lot of good to take, even if we don't win another game. There's so many good things that this season has had that we were 1-5. I would have never even imagined.
Sean Payton needs to quit. I mean, every coach does it. McDaniel's done it in Miami, but quit bringing over Saints tight ends. Because he brought over Trotman.
Yeah.
He's brought over little Jordan Humphrey,
who's actually played solid for us.
He's a great receiving tight end because he was a receiver in college. He was a 6'4" receiver in college.
He's playing receiver for us.
Is he? Because he was playing tight end.
So he's strictly playing receiver for us.
Okay, because that's what he was in college.
Yeah, he's played well.
Like the next dude you're gonna bring over is Taysom Hill.
Dude, I mean, hell, at this point.
I mean,
Swiss Army knife, I guess. Yeah. No, because everyone in freaking Denver
would love it.
Would be preaching, bench Russ Wilson for Taysom Hill. Dude. Start Taysom. You know it would happen.
We hear it now about how Taysom Hill should be a starting quarterback.
You know it would just be stupid because, we're in Utah and there's a lot of Utah fans that are Denver Broncos fans because that's the closest team.
Yeah.
Well, now the Raiders technically, but depending on where you're at.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could handle it. That never leaves this room.
You're trading
You don't
for
hear
Taysom
that.
Hill.
You don't hear about Taysom Hill.
Denver's going to trade for Taysom Hill, take on that contract.
That stays with us.
That's the next choice.
Okay. Dolphins.
We destroyed Washington, but not the way I thought we would.
Okay.
We won that game more with defense than offense, and Tua didn't have a good game.
Really?
No. If you look at that game, I mean, we won 45-13 and were able to pull Tua towards the end of the game. And he did throw 2 touchdowns, but we had an interception, 3 sacks. I mean,
really, defense is starting to look like the defense that...
The defense is forcing turnovers. They were sacking them. They were forcing punts. They were forcing, it. And then our offense was just kind of okay. Like, we put up 45. Tua was 18 of 24. He was efficient.
Right.
But he missed on a touchdown. They gave a chain 17 carries instead of Mostert. Mostert averaged all the way down to 3.9 yards per carry. Still got a touchdown, but he only had 11 carries.
Interesting.
Yeah, Tyreek had a big...
Because I thought A-Chain was supposed to be more... I thought it was supposed to be flipped. A-Chain has the big plays, but he doesn't get as many carries.
And what's funny is when A-Chain's been healthy, he takes the majority of the touches.
Huh.
Well, he doesn't necessarily play more plays, but the offense is built for him to have more touches when he's in the game.
Okay.
Like, they make sure to get him touches when he's in the game.
Right.
So his touch per snap is higher than Mostert.
Okay.
Mostert is just like the consistent guy. It's like, hey, Mostert's in. If we need to run the ball, we're good. If we need a screen, we can run it with Mostert, but we don't necessarily need to give Mostert the ball.
Yeah. Interesting.
But Mostert is like 120 yards away from his first 1,000-yard season.
That'd be dope at 31.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Never had a 1,000-yard season. He's leading the NFL in touchdowns. Tyreek Hill's leading the NFL in receiving yards and touchdowns.
I want to talk about that a little bit. It's kind of pisses me off.
A-Chain's like 4th in touchdowns and 8th in rushing yards, and he's only played 7 games.
it kind of pisses me off that Tyreek Hill's really not even realistically being considered in the MVP conversation when it's like if he hits over 2,000 yards before 17 games. So if he does it, because I believe he's on pace to do it the 4 weeks, the final week.
Yeah.
So if he does it in 16 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
first receiver ever, how are you not even considering that guy in the MVP conversation?
He should be in the MVP conversation. I don't know if he should
I don't know if he should necessarily
I
win
understand the argument. He is 100% offensive player of the year.
Yeah.
I understand if he doesn't get the MVP votes because that 99% of the time goes to a quarterback, occasionally a running back. I think he should be the exception.
That's my thing is you can't be the first player ever to do something like that and not even being really considered.
Cooper Kupp, when he won the Triple Crown, he wasn't an MVP consideration.
Right.
Russ Wilson has never received a vote for MVP.
Really?
Yep.
That makes sense.
He's always been in talks as an MVP candidate, but he's never gotten an actual vote.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But Tyreek should win at least Offensive Player of the Year this year.
Oh, 100%. It kind of bugs me that he could be having this kind of season and he's not even, it's like almost like a joke to even consider him in the MVP conversation when it's like, no offense, but take Tyreek away and that drastically hurts Miami Dolphins.
It does, but
like you guys have other options. You guys have the ability. Jalen Waddle, AJ Mostert. All these other players.
With those three, we're still good. But you got to remember also, we take away Tyreek Hill, and we take away his $27 million cap hit. We are bringing in other players to replace him, and Tua may not be having the season he's having, but Waddle would be having a better year.
Yeah.
More touches for Mostert, more touches for, Cedric Wilson, more touches for whatever receiver we would have brought in for $15 million a year.
Right.
So, but Tyreek Hill, I think, deserves to be in the conversation.
Yeah. I don't know if necessarily wins it, right? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the fact that he's not even really being
who
considered.
Wins it this year? Who's worthy of an MVP this year? Not Patrick Mahomes.
No. Hell, at this point, probably the person realistically who wins it is Brock Purdy or
Brock Purdy should be in the conversation.
Or Dak, actually. Weirdly enough.
Yeah.
Statistically, Dak's having an incredible year.
He's taken care of the ball this year, which he used to do. Last year was weird.
I think he's similar numbers to what Brock Purdy is.
Yeah.
On the season.
Well, you can tell that offense with Brock Purdy, but you can also tell that offense when Trent Williams went down. Mm-hmm. That offense struggled.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Trent Williams.
But I don't know. Lamar Jackson could be in the conversation.
Yeah.
The Ravens are a very good team that everyone forgets about. I mean,
what are Lamar's numbers?
Good.
Great. That's really insightful man.
I can pull his numbers up real quick.
Honestly, right now, if the votes happen today, I think either Brock Purdy or Dak Prescott wins it.
Probably. I mean, Lamar's had his up and downs. The only reason he'd be in there is because of his team's record. So this year, Lamar currently is completing 68% of his passes. He's got 2,600 yards, 7.8 yards per attempt, 13 touchdowns, 5 picks to go along with
13 touchdowns, 5 picks,
575 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns.
So 18 touchdowns on the season.
Yeah.
They're
9-3, like the Dolphins. Trevor Lawrence is an MVP consideration.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts has to be the favorite. They're 10-2.
You say that, but the Niners just beat the shit out of them. Beat the shit out of them.
Right. And Brock Purdy is somebody I would say is, I think in your top five is Jalen Hurts, Brock Purdy, Dak, Tua,
Tyreek
Hill.
I'd agree.
I think anyone after that, Trevor Lawrence might be swapped in there for
Maybe.
Tyreek Hill or Tua.
Yeah.
Just because people are going to talk shit on Tua or because Tyreek's a receiver.
They'll,
whatever reason.
And the same arguments they'll make for Tua are the same arguments they'll make for Dak. They've only beaten bad teams.
Yeah.
It'll be the same exact argument.
Yeah. You only beat bad teams till you beat good teams.
Yep. So I don't know, that's kind of where I'm at it. I don't know. You guys let us know. Who do you think? Who are your MVP?
Who's your MVP?
Yeah, who's your MVP right now? We've played we've played 13 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going into week 14. Going into week 14, who's your MVP?
I don't know.
I probably if I had to vote today, I probably give it to Brock Purdy.
Not Tommy DeVito?
Can't.
Oh, man.
It's either him or freaking
What about
Farva. Like we're brothers or something.
Car ramrod over there in freaking Las Vegas, man. Yeah. It's tough this year. It's crazy that the Falcons are winning their division.
Yeah. I don't know.
That doesn't compute for me that the Falcons are winning their division.
Yeah, it's confusing to me. Because it feels like with the merry-go-round of who's going to start at quarterback, you would think they're a team that's not.
Well, and they won't stick with Ritter, and they should, just because.
Play it out. Young quarterback.
Let him play it out. He's a rookie. He didn't play it all last year. He's a rookie. Bijan Robinson.
Maybe give
whatever usage you're doing with him. Tyler Algier. I have no clue why he hasn't touched the ball after running for 1,000 yards as a rookie. Cordell Patterson, you forget, is on that team still.
Yeah.
You only have one good receiver in Drake London. I get Cordell Patterson's not the best receiver, but run him as an H-back, a slot receiver, a hybrid running back.
Right, like they did last year.
Like Curtis Samuel.
Right.
Just let him catch 40 passes and run the ball. I don't know what the hell they're doing over there.
Yeah. Last thing I kind of want to talk about.
The Dolphins beating the Titans Sunday.
Yes. You haven't even previewed that yet.
We were talking about MVPs. You brought up MVP consideration.
I was talking about Tyreek.
I don't know. We're playing the Titans. We're going to beat the shit out of them.
Will Levis, bro.
I love Will Levis. He's going to throw 3 picks. We're probably going to sack him 4 or 5 times.
Did you see?
He's going to throw 2 picks, actually, but he'll probably throw 2 touchdowns.
Did you see DeAndre Hopkins and him? He ripped into D-Hop, and actually after the game, D-Hop had nothing but praise to say about him. That's ball, and that shows a freaking leader.
Yeah,
right. He's a young quarterback, but still,
he's not afraid to get in the veteran's face.
Yes,
and you know what?
The veteran responded.
He could have been in the wrong. You saw Hopkins. Hopkins walked by. He wasn't. He didn't ignore him, but he didn't retaliate. He didn't argue with them. He just took it. And I mean, that's what a quarterback has to do sometimes.
Yeah, 100%.
You got to, any sport, your top guys got to get in people's faces. They've got to know that they messed up. They've got to know that what's going on.
They have to hold their guys accountable.
Yeah. So, I like Will Levis a lot. I like that team. I think Henry's out.
Is he?
Someone told me that Derrick Henry was going to be out.
The hell told you that? Do they watch football?
Yeah, they do. it could be wrong. It was TV.
Oh, okay. I believe that more.
TV told me Derrick Henry was out.
I believe that more.
Yeah.
Our cousin.
Yeah. He said Tajay Spears played the entire 4th quarter last week, and that's my concern. If they decide to just run Derrick Henry 40, 50 times straight up the middle, we'll probably lose. May not lose, but it's going to make it really hard.
It'll make it harder.
But we'll make Will Levis's life hell, and he'll turn the ball over a couple times. We'll get a bunch of sacks, get good field position, and their defense is not great, and so I expect us to have another 40.
Tua have a big game.
Another 40-point game. Tua may only throw for 280 yards again and 2 touchdowns, but we'll still put up 40 points.
Yeah. It'd be nice to see. I'd like to see Tua come out and have a big game.
Yeah. I want a 500-yard game.
I'd like
and
to
their
see
secondary's bad.
I'd like to see a really good big bounce back play, or not bounce back, but a game, a clean, big game by Tua. Not just takes care of the ball and throws for 250 yards, 270 yards. A big 400-yard game, takes care of the ball, freaking 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns kind of game.
Here's what I want, and is possible against this team. Sorry, I had a burp. I was trying not to burp in the microphone. I want Tyreek. Tyreek's going to get us 150. Last week, Jalen Waddle hit 100 yards and won another 100-yard games out of Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
And I want a chain to come through with a 50-yard run, end up with around 100 yards rushing, and then another, explosive reception to where he's around 100 yards receiving.
Yeah.
And then Mostert comes in with his 75, 80 yards rushing. Like right there, you have 200-yard receivers plus a running back around 100 yards receiving. I mean, that's Tua's 400, 500-yard passing game.
Right.
And Tua just goes off.
Yeah.
That Titans defense is bad. It could happen.
Yeah, it's possible.
Armstead has not been practicing, though, our left tackle. So, but we just gave Austin Jackson, our right tackle, a 3-year extension.
It's good.
He's been playing good this year.
It's good.
Played every game. I'm going to jinx it because the rest of our line's missed.
Yeah, why would you say that now? Why would you say that?
I don't know. I like doing stupid shit sometimes.
It's fair.
I like to test it. Let's test the waters.
As long as you don't do it during one of my team's games, man.
Austin Jackson's not going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Tua's going to throw for 485 and 5 touchdowns, or 4 touchdowns, and we'll have 2 rushing touchdowns.
I think he's going to throw for like 413.
Well, 4 touchdowns out of Tua and 2 rushing touchdowns puts us at 42 points.
There you go.
And Will Levis will get his 2 touchdowns, or Tennessee will get their 2 touchdowns.
Right.
42, 45 to about 17, 20 points again.
I think you live with that every week.
I can live with that every damn week.
Fair enough.
Jalen Ramsey's going to, if Will Levis tries to throw Jalen Ramsey's going to get an interception.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see if Derrick Henry actually plays.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I didn't know that he went out last week because I'd been paying attention the first couple of quarters.
Yeah,
but I didn't watch the fourth quarter of that Tennessee game, and so if he got hurt, that's huge. I do like Spears.
I might not be able to watch the Bronco game this week.
Spears is a stud coming out of Tulane.
That'd be disappointing. You're gonna have to freaking do the recap for both teams
for the Broncos.
So you're gonna have to watch the Bronco game.
Okay. Do you have like clips? So keep my eyes open.
I think we got a few.
I'm gonna just give me some tape. Make sure I stay awake for that game.
I appreciate that. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the next few weeks. The playoffs have started for the Denver Broncos.
The Broncos are fighting for their.
We are in the playoffs right now. You guys are just trying to get a number 1 seed.
Yeah,
you guys are trying to get a bye.
We're 9-3.
We're desperately trying to freaking make the playoffs.
We're tied for the best record in the AFC.
There you go.
Like Miami, whatever. We're tied for the best record in the AFC, and our schedule down the remaining games.
Easy.
Titans this week. Jets.
Hey, Zach Wilson's starting.
Yeah.
Even though he didn't want to.
And then Cowboys, Ravens, Bills.
So you got a tough.
Our last 3 games are tough. But we should have 12 wins by the time we get there.
But it gives you the opportunity to take down the Ravens and take the number 1 seed.
Probably won't happen. I don't know. The first couple times we played Lamar Jackson in his career, he beat the shit out of us in Tua.
Well, time to change it.
And then last year we were losing by 20 at halftime,
Yikes.
and we ended up winning 48-45.
Okay.
Tua threw like 5 touchdowns in that game.
Okay.
So it'll be interesting. That Dallas game scares me the most.
Yeah. Dallas is looking good.
The Ravens don't. Dallas does.
Hey, no matter what happens, people won't be able to say either the Cowboys or the Dolphins. One of them that you
It's
guys
gonna
only
beat a
beat good
team.
teams.
One of us beat a good team.
So you guys got a tough schedule.
Yeah, but I mean, we should have 12 games before we get to 12 wins before we get to those last 3.
Yeah.
So if you're sitting there at 12-3, and you only win 1 out of your last 3, you still finish what?
13
and 4.
Yeah.
That's not a bad season.
No, that's pretty good.
I'm okay with that.
That's pretty good.
I would like to get the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Getting a bye would be sweet.
That game, honestly, depending on what happens in the next couple of weeks, that
That-
Ravens game could be the game that decides the number 1 seed.
It probably will be.
So, hoping for good. Hopefully, your team can be healthy by then.
Hope so. It won't be because we lost Jalen Phillips for the year.
But you know what I mean.
Everyone else
You know what
we
I
need
mean.
healthy.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
But like I said, let us know, you guys, who your MVP is. Think the Broncos are going to make playoffs? Think the Dolphins are going to get the number 1 seed?
It's gonna be close.
We'll see. Thanks, guys.
See ya.
Oh, that was